you're a betrayed partner, you may have heard the term post-traumatic stress disorder to be used to describe the symptoms that you are dealing with, or as a diagnostic category for the experience of going through sexual betrayal. And that's appropriate, right? Because you are experiencing a trauma and often your symptoms match that diagnostic category. But I want to talk to us about a way in which that terminology and that diagnosis is actually quite misleading for betrayed partners. So for most betrayed partners, when you enter therapy or treatment, or even when you just reach out to friends and family and try to get some help to deal with the sexual betrayal and the cheating that you've been experiencing, you are actually mid-trauma. So often when we think about that diagnostic category of post-traumatic stress disorder, we're talking about people who have survived a trauma, the trauma is over. Even with childhood trauma, we're now in adulthood. We may be carrying that trauma with us, but the actual traumatic events are over with. And so usually when we're talking about that diagnosis, we're dealing with traumas that have ended. We're dealing with traumas that are over with, and now they're still impacting us, and we're dealing with the impact of it. For betrayed partners, often when we go into treatment, when we go into therapy, when we go in and seek help and look for help from other people, we are usually mid-trauma. So what that means is that we are in the middle of still finding out what's been happening. We may still be being cheated on. The cheating may be ongoing. We may still be being lied to and gaslighted. We may still be finding out things that happened and finding out there was more, or oh my goodness, there was another affair, or there was another type of behavior. We may be expanding our understanding because more is coming to light. All of this means that we're actually in the middle of the traumatic experience. It's not over for us. We're in the middle of it, okay? So why is this important to understand? Why is it so important that we look at this and kind of have language for it? Is that I think for most people, even for most treatment professionals, right? When you come into their office, they're thinking about how can we help you deal with this? And again, in the trauma world, you're usually dealing with things that have ended already. And it's really important for betrayed partners and their helpers to understand that this is a different rodeo, right? We're doing something different here. And what's actually happening is that the helping professional or the friend and family member, whoever it is that's trying to come along and help you weather what's going on and deal with what's going on, that they are actually joining with you in the middle of the trauma. So they're actually coming alongside and joining with you in the middle of the traumatic experience, and as the traumatic experience keeps unfolding. So that means that it's actually quite challenging to heal during that time, because often when we think about healing from trauma, again, the trauma is over. In this case, we're often trying to put new skills and resources and tools in place to help ourselves, even though the trauma is still ongoing. And that, my friend, is very hard to do. It is very challenging to onboard new skills, new resources, new tools, while also being mid-trauma. So if you have experienced that, if you've experienced going for help and trying to get help and trying to get resources and reading and podcasting and all the things that people do, right, to look for help, and you've seen the challenge for yourself of onboarding the information that you're getting and the new tools that you're being taught or learning, part of why that might be is because the trauma is still unfolding. And when the trauma is still unfolding, what that means is that our attachment system and our threat response system are in high activation, high distress. We are very disorganized inside of ourselves, right? We're very disorganized emotionally, and then our thinking is also quite disorganized as a result of that. And then our behaviors can often also be disorganized as a result of that. So what we want to understand is that this is the experience of partner betrayal, is that the trauma unfolds over time, and that the betrayed partner is often in the middle of an experience that is continuing, where there's more trauma that they're discovering, more traumatic impact that is unfolding. And they may like feel like they just got a toehold and it just started to get their head around stuff. And then their whole world blows up again because there's more information that comes to light. This is what it means for it to be unfolding and for the trauma to be unfolding as well, and the traumatic impact to be unfolding as well. This means that betrayed partners and their helpers are dealing with a very dynamic and multidimensional process. Every new piece of information that a partner learns changes not just their present, but it changes their past, because it changes how they understand their relationship and what the heck was going on in their relationship and what they thought was happening in their relationship versus what was really going on. It changes their present, because now they have new information in this present moment that they have to process. And it changes their future, because now it adds more uncertainty and more danger to the future for them. So this is a very multidimensional process. Healing betrayal trauma is very multidimensional, and you're dealing with past, present, and future all at one time. Then it's also, so it's multidimensional, that's number one. Number two is it's very dynamic, because every new piece of information changes everything else, right? You may have thought, okay, I think I understand what's happened. I think I understand what I'm dealing with. Maybe even I have some understanding about why it's been happening. And then all of a sudden you learn something new, and now you have to reorganize it all for yourself again. In your mind, in your body, in your understanding, in your emotional self, you have to reorganize it again. So betrayal, dealing with sexual betrayal, is again ongoing trauma, very multidimensional, past, present, and future all at one time, and extremely dynamic, right? Things are changing all the time as you understand things in a new way, as new information comes to light. This is vital for you as a betrayed partner to understand, so that you can understand your own experience and why betrayal is so challenging to start to work with, especially at the beginning when things are still unfolding. And it's so vital for your helpers to understand it too, so they understand that you are still in the middle of the traumatic experience and it's still unfolding for you. All right, I hope that's helpful. I'm Michelle Mays, author of The Betrayal Bind: How to Heal When the Person You Love the Most Has Hurt You the Worst.